Ayan, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Today is February 18, 2023. Nandito po tayo sa ating Module 8 ng ating masterclass in Marriage and Family Relationships. This is an advanced course. Welcome again to Doc Santos Tetik David from Cabuyao, Laguna.
Good afternoon po. Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon po. And to Miss Vanessa from Makati, the Office of Makati Counselor. And si Miss Rofelia.
Afternoon po.
Yeah, good afternoon si
To
Miss Rofelia.
everyone. And sir, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Maya papasok si Miss Rofelia, pero we'll proceed na. If you will recall, we discussed in our previous session yung importance ng lalaki sa relationship at syempre yung importance ng babae sa isang relationship. Yung kanilang posisyon na husband, dinefine natin, at yung wife ay dinefine din natin. I hope naalala niyo po lahat yun. And sabi nga ni Socrates, gusto mong maintindihan ang isang bagay, start by defining the term. So when we define the term, mas madali natin siyang magagampanan kapag naintindihan natin yung ating role as a husband or as a wife. Nakita ko effective. Kasi before, nung pumasok ako sa marriage, oo nga, husband na ang tawag sa akin. Pero wala naman job description na itinuturo yung ating mga city hall pagdating sa marriage counseling. At ganoon din sa wife. Ano ba ang meaning ng wife? Ang pagkakaalam lang natin, kung ano lang yung nakikita natin, siyempre, nag-aalaga sa mga bata. Si tatay lumalabas, nagtatrabaho. Kung ano yung nagiging observation natin sa ating paligid, yun ang nagiging definition natin, which is wrong. Hindi na tama na tayo ay nagbabase ayon sa ginagawa nila, no? We must have our own understanding of the definition ng bawat posisyon, lalong-lalo na sa bawat pamilya. Posisyon ng husband and wife, posisyon ng children, posisyon ng in-laws, posisyon ng kapatid mo, at maging ng iyong mga kamag-anak. So you have to define their relationship with you. Otherwise, magbabase ka rin sa observation mo, no? Your knowledge will always be based on your observation about the family. But when you consult the Wikipedia or any reliable sources defining the family, makikita mo na ang meaning na binibigay niya na totoo ay yung obligation. Not just defining the family, but the obligation expected from the family by every state, by every nation, by every country, by every government. Anong obligasyon ng family? To produce functional offspring. When you define it, family is where the members of the society are located. Kung isa-summarize mo yung sinasabi ng Wikipedia about it, doon daw sa family nanggagaling yung smallest unit of the society. Which is tama naman. Pero, may purpose pa rin ang isang bagay. Lahat ng bagay man yan, nakikita man yan, symbolical man yan, or invisible, laging may purpose. So, makikita mo kasi ang isang family physically, but also in invisible form yung family. Na kahit isa lang yung makita mo sa kanila, may pamilya yan. Isa lang yung lumabas ng bahay, may pamilya yan, kilala ko. Ay, anak yan ni ganito. Ay, asawa siya ni ganito. No? Nadi-define mo pa rin or nadi-distinguish natin yung isang family kahit na hindi sila magkakasama sa isang lugar. No? It only means that every person came from that unit of a society called family. So, yung ating modules 5, 6, and 7 ay naka-summarize, and I found this video perfectly summarizing all the discussions that we had doon sa management principles na natutunan natin sa husband and wife. And if you will recall, I hope you remember na naituro ko sa inyo before na ang role natin sa mundo is just to manage everything that comes into our life. We are just managers. Managers lang talaga tayo. At wala tayong pag-aari. Anything. Pinanganak tayong hubot-hubad. Wala tayong hawak sa ating kamay. At wala rin tayong madadala pag alis natin sa mundo. Wala tayong mahahawakan sa ating kamay. Kahit pa isiksik pa nila yan sa yung mga golds, riches, and money sa ataol ng isang tao, hindi rin niya mabibit-bit yun. So, it only proves na we are just managers. Ano pa ba yung bukod sa pera na i-manage natin dapat ng maayos? Yung ating relationship sa ating asawa. We are also managers sa ating loob ng bahay. No? Kaya nga napakahalaga na when you enter into a relationship or forming a family, dapat tapos mo nang i-manage yung sarili mo. Yung affairs ng emotions mo, yung lahat ng likes and dislikes mo, yung bang na-develop mo na yung personality mo na kaya mo na siyang kontrolin. At hindi ka na nakokontrol ng ibang tao or hindi ka na nakokontrol ng mundo. Hindi ka na sunod-sunuran lang sa mundo. That is self-management. Kaya magkakaroon ka lang ng management skills sa family kapag na-develop na yung management skills mo to yourself. I hope you understand that. Again, ulitin ko po. Na-develop ang management skills ng tao, umpisa muna sa kanyang sarili. So kapag natutunan niya lang i-manage yung sarili niya, yung emotions niya, yung thoughts niya, yung kilos niya, salita niya, everything, doon lang siya magkakaroon ng, doon lang siya magiging effective na manager pagpasok niya sa pagpapamilya. Okay? Kasi iba naman yung i-manage mo, yung asawa mo na at mga anak mo. At kapag sinumatotal mo sila lahat, you are managing the entire institution. At the same mentality dapat ang asawa mo. Kung ganun na yung mentality mo, na-develop na yung management skills mo sa iyong sarili, naging magkaibigan na kayo ng sarili mo, di ba? Kaya nga yan yung tinuturo sa atin sa science, ano, sa eskwelahan. Yung self-love, yung ano tawag doon? Intra-personal development. Yan ang una nating dine-develop muna. Proseso talaga kasi yan eh. So, before ka makipag-interpersonal relationship, dapat na-develop mo muna yung intra, yung relasyon mo sa sarili mo mismo. Kasi pag hindi pa na ma-manage, hindi pa na ma-develop yung management skills mo sa sarili mo, talagang meron kang tendency to betray later on, to betray your partner, to be violent, to Hindi mo pa control yung emotions mo eh. Hindi mo pa nakokontrol yung anger mo, yung pag-i-stick to one mo. Hindi mo pa nakokontrol yun eh. Bakit? Hindi pa na-develop kasi yung self-management skill before pumasok to another management duty. Okay? So, I will play this video. This is an 8-minute video that summarizes all our lessons or principles that we learned about handling husband and wife or handling your spouse. Okay? So, nandiyan po kayo?
Yes, sir. Here pa po.
Yes po, yes po.
Yan. So, i-play ko na po and I hope maalala nyo yung ating mga napag-aralan. At this will confirm all those principles that we learned. After this, kasama sa ating exercises today, yung pagsosolve ng isang marital problem. So, testingin ko kayo mamaya kung pag binigyan ko ba kayo ng sitwasyon, masosolve nyo ba siya? On the spot. Using all the principles that we have learned. Okay? So, ito na po. Watch and learn. This is from Dr. Miles Monroe, isang best-selling author sa US. He is from the Bahamas. At napakarami din ng aking mga natutunan sa kanya. Watch and learn. Here's the video.
The principles of success relationship. I want to define principle for you first. The word principle is from the word prince, which means first. And I want to bring this back to you because a principle has to do with the first law that was laid down by the manufacturer. In other words, the principles of relationship has to do with the original laws of relationships that were laid down by the manufacturer. So we're going to be dealing with God's laws concerning how to have good relationships. So we're going to talk about the fundamental rule. Now, principle means that, the base rule, the fundamental rules of everything that God created, the foundation laws. Principles, therefore, have to do with the first fundamental, foundational, original laws established by the manufacturer, which are created and designed to regulate the function of everything that's created. When God created a woman and a man, He also designed laws by which they're supposed to function and relate to each other. Just like every manufacturer who makes a car, he designs the car, he tells you what makes the car work. If you follow the laws of the manufacturer, the car works fine. If you create your own laws, you got problems, like orange juice in the gas tank. So we got to learn the precepts, we got to learn the principles, the foundational laws. And what I'm teaching you is not something I came up with last week. Sometimes I weep when I see people, especially Christians, falling apart in marriage. I weep. I say to myself, this is so easy to fix. But they know nothing. They don't understand it. They don't have the information. And so what they do is they just throw it away. It's like having a car. Don't know how to fix it. So you leave it on the side of the road. People do that to their relationships. There are people who you break up with in your relationships years ago, just, friends, who were supposed to be a blessing to you. But you don't speak to them no more for the last 20 years. And they're still supposed to be a blessing to you. They can never get the blessing to you because you couldn't handle the human relationship part. That's how important relationships are. Got to learn those principles. Just a statement here. The key to life, therefore, is to live according to the knowledge and then understanding and obey those laws that make life function. I believe that the greatest problem in all of life, including relationships, is the ignorance of those principles. My wife and I have been married for 25 years, and I'm even afraid to say this because people don't believe me, but we never had a fight. We have differences of opinion. We discussing an issue. She give her opinion, I give my opinion, but never a fight. Never raised our voice at each other for 25 years. Never had a negative thing to throw at each other. And it wasn't because we were lucky. It's because of knowledge. Let me give you a quick example. You remember this, okay? Okay. Because of what I know, the knowledge, what I have studied about women, what I've learned over the last 30 years about females, I mean research. Do you know that it is a principle that you should never say a negative word to a woman? That's a principle. Now, how many men know that? Lord have mercy. You could think negative words about your wife, but you should never say them. And that's tough. Now, a woman can say any kind of negative word to a man. It doesn't affect him. But vice versa, you got hell to pay. Do you know why? Because see, the principle is that a woman does not hear words. Women are designed differently from a man. They don't hear words. Men hear words. Women don't hear words. They experience words. This is negative and positive. Yes, that works. He's your husband. You go to work. He's not treating you right at home. He's telling you negative things. You're crazy. You're stupid. You know, fat. You're ugly. Whatever. Okay. You go to work, and the guy in the job says you're cute. You're fine. You're wonderful. Now you see, you got a couple of problems going on here. She's having a bad experience at home. So going to work for her is a pleasure. She can't wait to see that guy every day who gives her another experience. That's why it's important for you to be careful what you say to another man's wife. Are you getting it? See, I can't talk to you women in the church the way I talk to my wife. As innocent as it may seem, I am giving you an experience. So I'm
Sir, nawala po.
very careful what I say to you. That's why pastors get in trouble.
Wala sa
Nag-stop po ang video. Opo, nag-stop po ang video.
The principle is,
Under pa sa akin.
whatever you say to a woman, she feels it.
Sa signal nyo.
But there's so many acts of
Hey,
adultery,
Vanessa.
so
Vanessa,
many
maandar
broken
pa sa'yo.
marriages, because you got men who are so ignorant
Miss Vanessa?
of the principles that even when they mean well,
Vanessa?
turns into especially if
Maandar,
the woman
maandar sa'yo? Yung video, Miss Vanessa? O sige,
Gumagalaw naman, okay naman po yung videos sa akin po, saan.
baka kay
Bubog
Doc.
naman po.
O, Doc, baka nawala yung signal ko.
Pero narinig, so sa others ko na,
Yeah, kay
nag-work
Vanessa. Okay daw kay Vanessa eh. Di bali,
Sige lang po, go on lang po. Baka habulin ko na lang po. Baka ako ang may problem.
Inatras ko lang konti, Doc. Inatras ko lang konti. Saan part yung nawala
Okay po.
sa'yo? Saan part yung nawala sa'yo?
Sir, okay na po.
Sige, sige.
careful
Doc.
with your
Yung,
wife.
you should, yan. Okay na po.
Yan, okay. Now, yun yung last na abutan mo. Okay.
See, I can't talk to you women in the church the way I talk to my wife. As innocent as it may seem, I am giving you an experience. So as a man of God, I have to be very careful what I say to women. That's why pastors get in trouble. Like any man gets in trouble. Because they don't know the principle. The principle is, whatever you say to a woman, she feels it. That's why there's so many acts of adultery, so many broken marriages, because you got men who are so ignorant of the principles that even when they mean well, it turns into a deep well. Especially if the woman is having a bad experience at home. So if a man keeps telling a woman negative things, any man that tells her positive things, she's not looking for the man, she's looking for the experience. So she likes to be around this man. And of course, that feeds his ego. So he keeps on telling her the things that make her be attracted to him. And then she confuses that with love. And now we got a problem in the marriage. Is this making sense? But it's all because of a principle. Just one I taught you, just one. Shows you how complicated it is. Relationships. You don't need to be married to experience this. It's a relationship principle. That's why women always seem to be controlled by men. if the man knows how to talk. Get it? Yeah. And that's why, a woman who ain't married going over with a guy, and the guy is telling her all these wonderful things. She experiences what she hears, and then one day he says, I don't like you, And she can't believe this man wants to leave her. What are you talking about? You already gave me 6 months of an experience. You called me on the phone and told me my voice was beautiful like music. You told me that I am lovely and I got a good personality. You kept stroking my experience, and now you telling me you are leaving me. See, and the woman takes it so hard because she is about to lose experience. To him, it's no big deal. He moves on. So then she calls him dog. Now you see, a man is different. He doesn't feel words. He analyzes words. A man is different. So he takes the word dog, he analyzes it. Dog. See, I'm a dog? No, I'm not a dog. Good. Okay. So I'm not a dog. So now she gets doubly angry because he's supposed to be mad. He doesn't get mad. So now it makes her more angry that he doesn't feel bad the way she feels about it. So she thinks he is cold, heartless. No, he just don't feel the word. That's why Jesus always tells his wife beautiful things. You are the apple of my eye, he says. Jesus never speaks negative to the church. He loves us so much. He says, I'm going to raise you up on the third day, on the last day, and you will be like a bride adorned for a husband. He says, you are my jewels and my crown. That's why we feel so special to Jesus. He just says good things to his wife. She has an experience. So men, you learned an important principle tonight. Be careful what you say to your secretary. You got to keep the limits. You tell her, that's a nice dress today. That's all you meant. If you're married, you shouldn't let anybody tell your wife more good things than you tell her every morning before she leaves. You understand? That's how it works. Because if she gets more experiences from other men than she gets from you, you are in danger. Why are you all so quiet? It's getting deep already, eh? We're just getting an introduction here tonight. It's a principle. What's the problem? The tragedy is that we are ignorant of these principles. And so we don't know why we cause problems. Sometimes a man would end up having sex with a woman that he doesn't love. He loves his wife, but he's been talking to this woman, saying the wrong things at the wrong level. Imagine a husband who's married to a woman telling another woman, you are the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. Now that is dangerous, because only his wife's supposed to hear that. You know what she hears? She experiences that she's better than your wife right away. So now you're in trouble because she sees you as a target. You are vulnerable. As far as you're concerned, she is more important than your wife. You should never tell a woman anything that makes her more important than your wife, because she experiences it. Selah.
Ayan. Sana, sana may mga napansin kayo na maganda, ang sarap ituro, at I hope meron kayong realization ngayon na gusto kong malaman from you mismo. Kung ano yung realization na lumabas sa inyong isip ngayon after watching that video. Doc Tetik, ikaw nga.
Yes po, sir. Well, my assessment is that it's a principle. So, it is tested and it is a parang tamang mechanism na yung mga negative, actually yung word po na negative, yun ang big word. So, negative, sasabihin mo yung negative sa isang tao, so maghahanap na yun ng affirmation ng positive yung isa from other people. So, it's a human principle also. So, from that moment, alam mo na agad ang magiging distraction po.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Doc. How about si Ma'am Vanessa? Miss Vanessa?
Sa aking pagkakaintindi po, ang assessment ko is may iba't ibang level how you manage to tell someone, kumbaga sa wife mo, siya lang dapat ang pinakamaganda. When sa other woman, hindi eh. Dapat,
Mm-mm.
what do you call this? If you say the beautiful things for your wife, sa kanya lang yon. Huwag hindi sa ibang girls. And how you treated other woman is the way you treating also your wife.
Yeah.
Ganun po dapat, 'di ba po? Yun po yung pagkakaintindi ko na
Tama. Tama. Thank you. Pero meron pa kayo na-miss na isa. Napansin nyo?
experience po ba yan, sir? Yung experience, right?
Yeah, anything you say to a woman, she experiences it. She feels it. Sa lalaki, we just hear it. Naririnig lang namin, pero di namin na-experience. Sa babae, the moment na sinabi ng lalaki yan sa inyo, experience na kagad yung nararamdaman ninyo. The moment you absorb it. Okay? Which becomes dangerous. Kaya hindi alam ng mga, hindi yan nalalaman ng nakararaming kalalakihan. That's why infidelity happens. At napansin nyo ba, dito sa video na to, sa explanation na to, sa principle na ito, dito nyo malalaman yung sagot kung bakit mas matatapang pa yung mga kerida kaysa doon sa tunay na asawa. Ha?
Yes, sir.
Diba? Meron ng sagot kasi walang nakakasagot niyan eh. Bakit mas kung sino pa yung kabit siya pang matapang, no? Lagi niya ng reklamo sa mga marites, no? Usap-usapan lagi 'yan. Ito ang sagot. Alam niyo kung bakit mas matapang sila? Because they have a knowledge and feeling that they are better than the original. Doc Santos, are you listening?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Doon nanggagaling yung tapang nila. Bakit? Kasi pag kasama niya si husband, siyempre sasabihin lahat ni husband yung diferensya ng wife niya. Doon pa lang may problema na tayo. Hindi nga dapat nalalaman ng ibang tao yun eh. Wife lang niya dapat ang unang nakakaalam nun, di ba? Itong problema ko sa'yo. O, dapat siya lang nakakarinig nun. Inilabas ng bahay na naipasa sa isa pang babae. Hindi ako ganyan. Love na love ako nito. Kaya ako yung mahal na mahal nito kasi ang dami niyang reklamo sa'yo. Yan ang reason kung bakit mas matapang sila kaysa sa original. Kaya pag nagkaharap na yung dalawa, magtataka yung original. Bakit ba galit na galit sa akin yan? Kabit lang yan, ang tapang-tapang niya. Kasi,
Alam niya po lahat.
lahat eh. Diba? So,
Yes.
now you know, Miss Vanessa.
Yes po, sir.
Kasi nga, meron ng violation si husband, sunod-sunod na violation na yung ginagawa niya. Finid na niya lahat ng negatibo tungkol sa asawa niya. At siya naman, siyempre, puro positibo na tatanggap niya doon sa husband. Kaya mas matapang sila kaysa doon sa original. Okay? And by the way, Doc, thank you sa iyong reaction paper. Nabasa ko na. Ang ganda. Nakakatuwa.
Thank you po.
Yeah.
Sir, sending pa lang ako, sir, ha? Sorry.
Thank you sa'yo.
Opo, meron po ako.
Okay, very good. Kuha lahat ni Doc yung mga ano natin, ha? Yung mga pinag-aralan natin, ha? Parang sinamarize mo na, Doc. Ang galing.
Ay, so happy po.
Oo. Ayun. Nako, ang dami pa nating matututunan today sa lesson na to na pinaghandaan ko uli para sa inyo. Lalo nga sana kung matutuwa kung may lalaki pa tayong kasama dito, di ba? Babae lang talaga lagi ang interesado na matuto. Nandun lagi assumption ng mga lalaki that they know it all already, no? So this is our module 8 today. Sustaining the needs. Ito yung pinaka problema ng lalaki pag nag-asawa na. How to sustain the needs of the family. Sino bang aasahan dito kundi siya lang? Di ba? Kasi sa babae, sa inyo, nararamdaman ninyo naturally, hindi niyo yan control, that he should provide. Di ba? He is the provider. Ramdam niyo yan eh. Tapos, meron din kayong natural instinct, no? Instinct na rin, natural na, instinct pa, na pag pera nyo lang. At hindi kayo open. Hindi kayo open sa inyong mga husbands tungkol sa inyong pera. At pangatlo, tinuturuan tayo ng society, ng mundo, tinuturuan kayo na maghanda para kung iniwanan ka niyan, meron kang budget, meron kang financial capability to support yourself and the children. At yan yung laman ng gender and development or gender equality law. Napilit na itinuturo at sinasaksak sa curriculum ng mga bata, yung equality na yan. Yung paghahanda ng mga kababaihan sa kanilang sarili, just in case hindi mag-work in relationship, ang babae ay may financial capacity to support herself and the children. Yan po ang sinusulong nila palaging kasagutan sa broken families. Oh, just imagine that. Nalulumo sa mga tinuturong ganyan ng ating mundo, yung equality na yan. Now, we must, ay nawala si Doc. Nawala yung signal yata niya. Ayan. Doc, moving ka ba? Nasa event ka? Okay. So, sustaining the needs of the family, kailangan maituro natin sa mga lalaki na meron silang kakayahan. Every human being is planted with a seed for you to multiply. Not just to multiply babies. Na sentro na kasi doon, ano? Yung mga tinuro sa ating mga ninuno, na sentro na doon, na kapag sinabing multiply, magparami ng anak. Ang multiply, lalo na yung pagpaparami ng anak, that don't need instructions. No? Kung wise ang isang tao, testingin din niya. Halimbawa, ikaw, wise kang magulang, meron kang anak. Gusto mong testingin kung paano siya mag-isip. Sasabihin ko lang sa anak ko, oh, be fruitful, then multiply. You find out later how to become fruitful and how to become multiply. Basta binigyan kita ng kakayahan to be fruitful. Meron akong seed na tinanim sa iyo, so you will become fruitful someday. Everything created ay merong seed. Ano yung seed na yon? Yung capacity to multiply. Just like the mango seed. Just like the apple seed. Everything. Lahat ng cells na natuklasan, merong capacity na to multiply. Di ba? Every microorganism, meron ng naka-plant na seed, capacity, kapasidad, kakayahan, na magkapagparami. Okay? So, ang pagpaparami ng baby, ng tao, ay hindi kailangan iutos. Ano ibig sabihin niya? The human being will discover that. The human being will just find out about that. But definitely, if you check the original meaning of multiply or becoming fruitful, laging may different strokes ang Hebrew language. If you study the Hebrew dictionary, yung mga words nila, merong strokes iba-iba na parang kala mo Chinese characters, pero hindi. Every stroke has a meaning sa Hebrew language, no? So when you read the word fruitful, it means a lot of things. When you read the word multiply, it means a lot of things. Kagaya ng Garden of Eden. Ang nasa isip natin is an actual garden na may halamanan, place of flowers, place na maraming tanim, no? Yun lang nasa isip natin when we think about garden. Pero in Hebrew, that means order. Garden. Eden means the spot. The spot on the earth, pag pinagsama mo yun, Garden of Eden means a spot on the earth where God is there in an orderly place. Orderly place. Nandun ang Diyos sa lugar na yun. And that's where He created the first family. Okay? Nawala, hindi pa nakabalik si Doc, sayang. Okay. So, when you talk to husbands na namumblema sa finances, ito pa isang gusto kong lagi nating i-emphasize dapat Hanggat hindi ka negosyante o hindi mo naiisip mag-business, huwag ka mag-aasawa. Kung empleyado ka pa rin up to now at hindi ka pa nagsisimulang magplano about having your own business, huwag kang mag-aasawa. Sabihin niyo yan sa mga husbands or mga binata na makakausap ninyo every time you train them, every time you conduct seminar. Let them understand na mayroong tamang panahon dyan. Gawin mo muna ito, yung konsepto na to of having your own business para masustain mo yung anuman ang minumultiply mo. Dumami man ang anak mo, you have the capacity to multiply it, to feed and sustain their needs. Why? Because you are already fruitful. Anong fruitful? Meron ka ng kumikitang kabuhayan na pinupuntahan ka ng tao, dinadayo ka kahit saan ka magpunta. Bakit? Wala namang puno na mabunga na dinala yung sarili niya sa palengke para ibenta yung fruits niya. Di ba? Hanapin ka ng tao once you specialize on something that solves a problem of humanity. Okay? Kagaya sa amin, mag-asawa. We discovered, we become fruitful by offering a solution to relationship problem. Nag-aral kami na nag-aral. Hanggang sa hinahanap kami ng tao. Kahit saan kami magpunta. Kahit saan kami magtago, hinahanap kami ng tao. Because we are already fruitful. Because we can offer a solution to the problem of relationship. Okay? Na wala ka Dok kanina, pero I was saying na ito yung moment naman na kailangan nating ituro sa mga kabataan at sa mga lalaking nag-aasawa na hanggat hindi ka natututong magnegosyo, hanggat hindi mo na-discover yung isang idea na pwede mong gawing business, huwag kang mag-aasawa. Hanggat empleyado ka, hindi ka qualified mag-asawa. Dahil pag dumami na ang anak mo,
Yes.
aasa ka sa sahod na dinidikta ng employer. Oo. Aasa ka sa sahod na dinidikta ng employer. Kaya kahit mayroong trabaho yung wife mo, hindi pa rin yan sasapat. Bakit? Kahit na i-combine ninyo yung income ninyo, hindi yan sasapat. Ang studies, kailangan daw 120,000 ang combined income ninyong dalawa at dalawang anak for you to be happy dito sa Philippines. 120,000 na monthly income. Oh, ano maaabot yun if your employer is dictating your value? Ito lang kaya ko pasahod sa iyo. eh hindi ka naman makakatanggap ng mataas na sahod unless you are putting more value to yourself. Di ba? Kaya ka nagiging valuable sa company kapag marami kang sinusolve na problema ng kumpanya. So masosolve mo lang yung problema ng kumpanya if you put more value to yourself. And how to do that? By studying, aral, aral, aral. Kaya nga pag nag-asawa na, wala nang time magbasa. Bakit? Kasi ang tutok na lang ng atensyon ay magtrabaho, sumahod, pambayad sa bills, pambayad sa tuition, para hindi kayo tumira sa kalye. Wala nang time. Hindi na kakayanin ng oras ang pag-aaral. Mahirap. Tanungin nyo, yung mga nagsipag-asawa tapos tsaka lang tinatapos yung pag-aaral. Mahirap. Pagsabayin. Totoo lang. At papakita ko sa inyo yung isang konsepto ng mga Chinese kung bakit sila lagi yung dominating our economy all the time. Natawa nga ako nung one time nag-publish yung Forbes magazine ng richest Filipinos in the Philippines. After mamatay ni Henry C., ang laging nasa unahan si Manny Villar. In another report, ng mga sumunod na reports, nagulat ako. Bumalik sa top 1 yung siblings, yung Henry C. siblings, Henry C. heirs, yung anak ni Henry C. SM. Sila na, yung combine assets nila, pinagsama-sama. Kaya nahigitan pa rin nila si Villar. Bumaba ulit si Villar. Sabi ko, mukhang hindi pumapayag itong mga Chinese na nandun sila sa top 2 o naungusan sila ni Villar. No? Pinagsama-sama pa rin yung kanilang asset para mahigitan nila si Villar. So ito yung isang nangyayari ngayon sa China. May mga billionaires daw na nagtatakbuhan sa Singapore para itago yung kanilang yaman. Bakit? Hinahabol sila ng gobyerno for taxes. And not only that, communist sila eh. Sa communist, ang concept ng communist, alam niyo na siguro, na yung yaman mo, i-distribute yan sa may hirap para pantay-pantay. Oh, pakita ko sa inyo itong isang news article from ndtv.com na nagsasabing nagtatakbuhan sila ngayon sa Singapore, yung mga billionaires, para itago yung kanilang pera. Ito my money is mine. China's billionaires rush to Singapore to protect wealth. I'm showing this to you to prove na when you form a family, kailangan negosyante ka na. Kasi automatic nabibless ang buhay ng isang taong nakadiscover na ng kanyang gift to the world, ng kanyang seed na tinanim ng Diyos sa kanila. Kaya kahit hindi ina-acknowledge ng Diyos, hindi ina-acknowledge ng ilang billionaires, nabigay ng Diyos yung kanilang yaman, naging fair ang Diyos sa bawat human being. Bawat human being talaga ay may planted capacity to accumulate wealth after discovering the gift or the seed planted in them. Ganun ka-fair ang ating Creator. Every human being, kahit anong lahi pa yan, merong kapasidad to gain wealth. Tingnan nyo itong mga billionaires, nagtatakbuhan daw sa China, at ang reason ay ganito Gusto kong pakita sa inyo kung anong mentality meron sila, na wala tayong mentality kagaya nila. That's why we continue to be like this. We continue to be bullied by them. Kasi alam nila eh na mangmang tayo. Ay nako, ito atin na yun. Report ito ng isang worldwide TV network na ang reason ba't sila nagpupuntahan sa Singapore is this. Ayan, no? Relocating to Singapore puts the wealth of China's riches beyond the reach of Beijing, whose recent high-profile crackdowns have rattled billionaires. Unang naging biktima niyan ng paghahabol ng gobyerno sa kanila ay itong si Jack Ma. Kaya for one time, nawala ito si Jack Ma. 25 billion daw yung nakuha sa kanya, no? When Chinese regulators pulled the plug on a blockbuster IPO in 2020. Moving to Singapore is about making sure the family wealth is kept safe and can last for several generations. Nakikita niyo to? Yung statement na to, Doc and Miss Vanessa? Kikita niyo
Yes
to?
po, sir.
Yan ang reason.
Maliit. Okay. Meron po.
Yan. Making sure the family wealth is kept safe and can last for several generations. Kaya tingnan nyo, kung ang Pilipino, majority population, may ganitong mentalidad, bawat pamilya, walang magugutom. I don't think may magugutom na pamilya. Napakaliit ng Singapore, oh. Ba't hindi sa Pilipinas tatakbuhan yan? Although may mga Chinese na rin dito, napakarami, mayayaman. Dito sila nagtatapo ng pera. Okay? So yan ang reason. It's solely for the family. Ma-preserve yung pera nila para sa generations nila. Eh tayo kaya? Ganito ba tayo? Mag-isip? Hindi eh. Kaya napakalaking bagay o napakahalaga na tayo ay natuturuan lagi ng tama. Because pag tama ay naituturo natin o naituturo sa atin, magiging tama din yung ating desisyon. 'Di ba? Pag binigyan tayo ng tamang formula to solve a problem, nabibigay natin yung tamang sagot. Because tamang formula yung tinuro sa atin at naintindihan natin yung formula. Lagi kong inuulit-ulit siya. At yan ay pangunawa natin sa lahat ng ating mga kina-counseling or kinakasal. Ito ang mga mangyayari sa iyo. Hindi ka pa nakakaisip ng negosyo, empleyado ka pa rin, empleyado kayong dalawa, ito ang mga pwede niyong harapin. Tataas ang bilihin, hindi niyo madidiktahan ang inyong employer kung magkano isasahod sa inyo. Oh. What else? This is also family matters. Ang Japan ay bumababa ang kanilang birth rate. Birth rate. At pinag-aralan ng sociologists na someday daw ay pwedeng mawala ang Japanese sa mapa because of the declining birth rate. Ito, from Yahoo News. Is Japan going to sink right along with its birth rate? Dito sa news article na to, sabi nila, yung gobyerno ay nag-aalala dahil sa bumababang birth rate. Ang dami daw yung kalalakihan na hindi interesadong mag-asawa. Ramdam na nila yung epekto. Kaya dito sa first paragraph, mapapansin nyo, in Japan's Northeast Miyagi Prefecture, residents can find life partners via a government-sponsored government na yung nag-i-initiate, nag-i-sponsor ng event. Lalo na to, artificial intelligence-driven matchmaking service. In Ehime, to the southwest, isang lugar to sa Japan, regional authorities offer a big database matchmaking system, while further south, bandang ibaba pa daw, Miyazaki has gone analog, directing potential pairs to exchange handwritten letters o pen pal. ini-encourage nila yung mga tao na makipagrelasyon, no? Throughout the land, there are public and company-sponsored single parties and life design seminars meant to prod young adults onto a concrete timeline for marriage and family. Sila na mismo sa gobyerno ang nag-initiate ng mga events or nag-i-sponsor para magka-interest yung mga binata nila sa kababaihan or vice versa. Sa atin, hindi natin kailangan gawin to eh. Overpopulation na tayo eh, di ba? Kaya nga, napakaganda nung hinahanda kong lecture, Doc, sa ating March 16 event. Nako, kailangan natin talaga magseryoso sa ating pagbabalik ng stability ng ating populasyon. Alam niyo ba sa lahat ng studies, ang family ay laging 4 lang. Mag-asawa at 2 anak. Dumadami ang anak ng bawat Pilipino kapag naghahabol sa lalaki o sa babae. Imposible naman na hindi pa natutuklasan ng science kung paano gumawa ng babae. Imposible naman na up to now, hindi pa natutuklasan ng science kung paano gumawa ng babae. Di ba, Doc? Tell me.
Opo, nagwo-wonder nga rin po ako dyan. Ang ganda ng modernity na ngayon. Bakit wala pang inilalabas na ganyang study?
Hindi pa ba na-discover ng science how to make a male or a female?
Kung meron man po, hindi siya ine-expose pa sa atin publicly.
Hindi nyo pa na-discuss din sa school? No,
Hindi po,
nag-medicine
kung
kayo?
paano gagawa ng girl,
Yes.
male, female,
Yes.
female na offspring. Hindi
Yes.
po, wala po.
Wala pang studies tungkol doon?
Kung meron man po, hindi siya tinuturo officially.
Bakit sa abroad? Alam nila kung ano yung gender na
Oo nga po,
i-dictate nila.
sabi nga rin po
diba?
yung Chinese, meron din silang tinuturo na moon according to the cycle or what. Hindi ko po sure. Hindi ko alam.
Kasi in that manner, hindi sila maghahabol ng babae o lalaki because sa first na child pa lang, dictated na yung gender. It's either both males or they want a male and a female or both females. Kaya nakokontrol talaga nila yung populasyon nila. Kaya hindi ako maniniwala na hindi pa na-discover yan eh. Baka lang hindi pa natuturo sa atin or ayaw i-adapt or kinokontra ng mga hihina ang kita. Kinokontra ng mga negosyante dito or ng mga reliyon, di ba? Na ba't mo i-dictate ang gender? Kung ano bigay sa'yo ni Lord, tanggapin mo. Pwedeng ganun, di ba? Kaya hindi maituro-turo sa atin, hindi ma-apply-apply o hindi maisabatas. So that's our problem. Okay. Next slide natin would be the multiplication process again of your seed, of the seeds of every human being. Pakibasa nga, Miss Vanessa, itong ating nasa screen ngayon.
Wait lang po.
Sige.
Sir, hindi ko makita yung screen. Center lang po.
Sige.
Sir, yung be fruitful and multiply, right?
Yes.
Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have a dominion over. Wait lang, sir, nawawala, sorry. Over the fish of the sea, and over the flow of the air, and over every living things that move upon the earth. Genesis 1:28.
Yan. Thank you. This can be seen at chapter 1 ng Genesis. Nasa first page ito ng Bible na dumaan na sa kamay ng napakaraming tao, generation from generation, itong book na sinasabi ko, yung Bible. Pero, hindi ito ini-explain sa atin ng maayos. Or, hindi natin hinahanap yung tamang sagot ng maayos. Is this really an instruction to multiply the earth with children, or it means something else? Replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Alam nyo ba na this instruction is being given to the human being? Yung human being na yan, that composed of the male and the female. So itong instructions nito is exclusive upon the male and the female. And there is nothing in this text, in this verse, for them to dominate one another. The instruction is to dominate over the fish of the sea, the fowls of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And this talks about the animals. This instruction, again, is being given to both the males and the females. So, the instruction is for both of them to be dominating the animals. At ito yung recipe na ginagamit din ng mga malalaking negosyo ngayon. Bigyan ko kayo example. When a person starts to have idea, because everything started from idea. Nagsimula lahat yan sa idea. Yung upuan na inuupuan mo ngayon, started from an idea. Itong book na hinahawakan ko ngayon, started from an idea. Itong laptop, started from an idea. Your TV, your rep, everything started from an idea. Now, that idea na nasa isip lang ng human being, ilalabas niya yan by writing. Kailangan niyang i-drawing. So kung upuan man yan, ito-drawing niya. Ito yung upuan na idea na nasa isip ko. The-drawing ko, ito yung design. Now, kailangan ito mapakinabangan ng tao. Hindi lang basta nakadrawing sa papel. Kailangan ko yang dalhin sa gumagawa ng upuan. Kung kahoy man yan, dadali ko sa karpintero yung aking design. Pakigawa mo ko nito. Kung plastic yung nasa isip ko, dadaling ko yan sa gawaan ng plastic para i-produce ako ng ganyang klaseng upuan. At padadamihin ko. Yan ang sinasabing multiply. Yung idea is my fruit. Then, minultiply ko. Kaya tingnan nyo yung mga gumagawa ng century tuna. Sample lang yun. Yung century tuna, yung tuna mismo, na-discover nila kung paano siya gawing delata. And they multiplied it into different cities and places and countries. No, na-replenish yung earth, papalitan lang nila yun, basta na-consume na, nabili na, manufacture lang sila uli. Tuloy-tuloy, hanggat may human being na kumakain, mayroong need for food. At sila yung nakilala sa paggawa ng tuna. Na-dominate nila. Yun nga yung sinasabi dito, have dominion over the fish of the sea. Na-dominate nila yung area of life para gumawa ng tuna. Kaya pag narinig natin yung salitang tuna, ang una nating maiisip ay, uy, century tuna yan. Hindi natin alam na meron pa palang gumawa din ng another tuna, pero iba na ang lasa, syempre. Bakit? May sariling idea ng kanyang lasa, sariling recipe, itong si Century Tuna. Also, Pure Foods. Naku, hanga ako sa mga kinakain natin ngayon. Because dito galing yan sa Bible. Yung principle na ginamit nila to become the number one food manufacturer sa ating bansa, yung San Miguel. Kaya ito yung mga na-discover nila sa Bible many years ago na hindi nila tinuturo sa mga Pilipino. When the Spaniards came here with the religion, naka-Latin yung Bible, tapos hindi pa tayo marunong magbasa, yung mga ninuno natin, hindi marunong magbasa, lalong hindi natin malalaman yung sinasabi ng Diyos about sa kakayahan natin to acquire wealth. No? Kaya nauna sila eh. Ano pa yung kailangan, ano pa yung denominate ng mga manufacturing? Yung chicken, naku, napakaraming version ng chicken na makakain mo, hindi lang fried chicken. Ayan yung dominion, dominating an area of life using natural resources na imumultiply mo. And you will just continue replenishing it, hanggang sa hanggang sa tumanda ka, mawala ka sa mundo, at i-take over ng mga anak mo yung business mo, at buhayin sila ng business na yan, at hindi rin sila magutom. So just imagine the possibility of every family having a business in a particular place, dominating the area of food na gustong-gusto ng mga tao. Let's move on. Pakibasa nga, Doc Santos.
Look deep into nature and then you will understand everything better.
Albert Einstein. Look deep into nature daw. Pagbasdan mo ang mga bagay na hindi creation ng human being. Kagaya ng mango tree. Dito sa tapat ng opisina ko, nakikita ko ngayon sa harapan ko ang isang malaking puno ng mango. Napakaganda ng mango tree na ito sa harapan ko. Kaya nga ang sarap magtrabaho dito eh. Nakikita ko lagi yung nature na yan, yung puno na yan. At bago naging fruitful yan, alam ninyo siguro, nag-aralan natin yan sa science, yung basic planting principles. Nag-aralan natin yan na pag nagtanim tayo, nilagay natin yung buto sa tamang lupa, ang unang ginagawa niyan ay kumukuha ng pundasyon sa ilalim. Kung naalala nyo. Pailalim muna ang labas ng kanyang stems para kumapit siya doon sa ilalim. Pupunta sa ilalim ng lupa hanggang sa malambot yung kanyang napupuntahan, hahaba ng hahaba yan. Ano kayo ibig sabihin nun, Miss Vanessa? Ba't siya pumupunta sa ilalim? Vanessa? Miss Vance? Ikaw, Doc, ano sa tingin mo? Ba't siya pumupunta sa ilalim?
Actually, yun nga po rin, very big yung yung statement na nga po na yun.
Alam mo daw kung bakit siya umiilalim? Pag naglagay ka ng seed sa ilalim ng lupa, o bakit siya nauunang pumunta sa ilalim bago siya lumusot sa ibabaw? Alam mo kung bakit, Doc? It is building his foundation. Building his foundation. Yung kanyang kinakapitan sa ilalim. Imagine yung wonder, no? Yung miracle na nangyayari sa isang buto. Bakit alam niya na kailangan muna niya magtayo ng pundasyon sa ilalim ng lupa para kung lumaki man siya, makapit na makapit siya sa lupa at hindi siya tutumba. Di ba? Sa dami na ng taong nabuhay, 2023 pa atras. That includes Albert Einstein. Hindi ito bago na information. Na kagaya ko, ngayon ko lang naintindihan. Hindi ako yung unang nakatuklas nito. Napag-aralan na nila ito many years ago. Ito pa isa. Galileo. Sino si Galileo? Naalala nyo? Galileo Galilei? Naalala nyo? Miss Vanessa, nandiyan ka na ba?
Yes po, dito na po.
Yan. Sino si Galileo Galilei? Review tayo. Hindi ito tinuturo sa ating political science class. 'Di ba? Si Galileo nabuhay noong 1564 to 1642. Scientist din ito. Ang mga na-discover niya, yung mga invention niya ay hydrostatic balance, the first practical thermometer. Si Galileo ang inventor nun. The first practical thermometer, yung hydrostatic balance, the geometric and military compass, the compound microscope, the pulsilohia. Ano itong pulsilohia? It's an instrument to measure the pulse. Ginagamit yata ito ni Doc sa kanyang medical practice. An instrument to measure the pulse. And the astronomical... Yeah, Doc, diba? Ginagamit ito. And the astronomical telescope.
Yes po.
Yan.
Altimeter.
Yan. He became the first person to see the mountains on the moon. Dahil sa kanyang telescope na naimbento, no? Nakita niya na yung moon pala ay may mga mountains daw. Siya rin nakadiscover ng rings of Saturn and to discover that the sun revolved and that the earth and planets revolved around the sun. Siya ang nakadiscover niyan because of the instruments that he invented. Dahil sa discovery niya, siya ay kinestyon ng simbahan. No, sabi dito, with opinions as revolutionary as his discoveries, dito sa book na to, you can be a world changer. With opinions as revolutionary as his discoveries, Galileo's critics began to spread rumors that he was a heretic. Heretic ang nagiging tawag sa tao kapag nagbigay siya ng declaration na against doon sa teachings ng Roman Catholic Church. Against sa simbahan. Heretic. He believed science had an important role in determining truth. An opinion that the Roman Catholic Church took as a direct challenge. Galileo traveled to Rome 3 times to win the Pope's support for his work. The Pope gave conditional approval, forcing Galileo to agree never to support Copernicus, who was the first to say the planets revolved around the sun. It's Copernicus. In 1632, Galileo published dialogue concerning the two chief world systems. The book challenged common teachings that two sets of unrelated natural laws govern heaven and earth. Two sets daw of unrelated natural laws govern heaven and earth. Galileo argued that humans, ulitin ko, Galileo argued that humans and all things on earth were subject to natural laws, with which physics and mathematics could describe. Human and all things on earth were subject to natural laws, which physics and mathematics could describe. Tama rin yung sinasabi ni Albert Einstein. Nagkakaisa sila sa idea na meron pala talagang pagkakatulad ang human being sa natural creations, kagaya ng puno, kagaya ng mga halaman, na merong kanya-kanyang seeds at abilidad to grow and become fruitful. At hindi yan itinuro sa atin. That's why maraming tayong kababayang Pilipino na nagpapasalin-salin bawat generation para lamang maging empleyado dahil hindi naniniwala sa konseptong built-in seeds na taglay ng bawat human being. Ang sabi ni King Solomon, sow your seeds in the morning, and at the evening, let not your hands be idle, for you do not know which will succeed, whether this or that, or whether both will do equally well. Ecclesiastes 11:6. Anong sabi? Isabog daw yung iyong mga seeds sa umaga. Kung empleyado ka, yes, binabayaran ka para i-develop ang iyong seed, yung iyong gift, yung iyong kakayahan. Binabayaran ka ng employer mo. Pero, huwag kang magsayang ng oras. Let not your hands be idle. Pagdating ng gabi, pag uwi mo, oras mo na yon, ituloy mo na ang pag-aaral para sa pag-discover ng iyong seed. Dahil hindi mo alam kung ano magka-succeed sa mga seeds mo, it only means na the human beings is just not planted with one seed, with just one seed. No? Sa statement na to, makikita natin na hindi lang pala isang seed ang taglay ng bawat human being. Napakaraming seeds pala yan. Hindi mo alam kung sino dyan ang magsasucceed. Or baka lahat yan, sabay-sabay, maging successful. Kaya makikita nyo yung mga taong marunong sa ganito, marunong sa ganyan, marunong sa ganon. Ang isang best example ko lagi dyan, si Jose Rizal. Ano? Ang dami niyang talents na ginawa niyang skills dahil sinamahan niya ng pag-aaral. Di ba pag binasa niyo yung mga Rizal's writings o Rizal's life, makikita mo lagi, he is an engineer, he is an architect, he is also a plumber, he is a doctor. Ang dami niyang nalalaman. Ang dami niyang kakayahan. Di ba? Simpleng tao lang naman din yan si Rizal. Nagkataon lang na naging masipag din ang magulang niya, kaya may kaya ang pamilya nila. Alam ni Doc yan, ni Doc Santos. Dahil most of Rizal's life ay nahubog sa Laguna, sa Binyang. Filipinos among most ignorant on key issues. Diploma, not always key to finding a job. Ipaunawa po ninyo sa mga husbands yung bagay na ito. Dahil ito ang nagbibigay ng discouragement sa kanila to be fruitful. Alin? Yung discouragement na yan. Yung kawalan ng diploma. Wala rin palang diploma to si Joseph Estrada. Kahit to si Benigno Aquino Jr. Wala rin palang mga college diploma to mga to. Kalagay dito. Ano pa? Si Thomas Alva Edison, walang degree yan. Pati si Bill Gates. Pag tinype nyo sa Google, who are the billionaires na walang college degree? Ay nako, dami nyong makikita. Which only proves that the seeds planted in a human being does not require a college diploma para lang maging fruitful. Okay? Pakibasa nga, Doktong, ito naka-box.
Wait lang po, sir. Isusum ko lang.
Yeah.
Wait lang, sir.
Sige, ma'am.
Mag-zoom.
Galing ito kay Senate President Blas Ople, a college dropout na naging Minister of Labor ni Ferdinand Marcos Sr. And in a speech he recently gave to college graduates in Negros Occidental, Oples stressed that education is and will always be the greatest liberator of human potential. But he said finishing college does not necessarily mean that one is educated. Tuloy mo, Doc.
Lord, sorry po, sobrang hindi ko siya talaga ma-zoom.
Ay,
But I can
malabo.
hear loud and clear.
O sige, tuloy ko na lang.
Ako na
Apa.
pa yun.
Education means knowing what you are, what you want in life, and how you can get it. Ulitin ko. Education means knowing what you are, what you want in life, and how you can get it. Some people go through college without knowing what they want. So they graduate not knowing where to go or what to do next. Ople said, the diploma is not always the key to finding jobs. Okay? What else? Ito pa, oh. Vanessa, nakikita mo itong second box? For 300 years, kikita mo?
Yes, sir. For
Oh,
300 years under
Sige.
Spain and 50 years under America, we have been brainwashed that we must be employees, that we must serve, Villiers said, but this should not be the case. Instead of becoming employees, we should start becoming an employer.
Yan. Become entrepreneurs. Kaya itatanong natin to lagi sa mga nagkaasawa. Meron ka ba plano magnegosyo? Pag wala, naku po. Ito ang hirap na pagdadaanan nyo. Baka hindi nyo kayanin. For the first 5 years, ang taas ng statistics ng hiwalayan. Baka hindi nyo kayanin yung pressure. May kinalaman talaga dyan yung pagtuturo. No? Sabi ni Villar mismo, we have been brainwashed that we must be employees, that we must serve. Malaki ang kinalaman talaga ng tamang pagtuturo. Sabi ni King David, matanda na ako, naging bata ako at ngayon matanda na ako. Yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging for bread. Yung sinasabi niya dito, all throughout my life, never ko nakita na ang isang righteous, pag sinabing righteous, hindi naman ito ibig sabihin na una, pakabanal niya. Hindi. Right means yung kanyang buhay naka-align doon sa natural law ng Diyos. Hindi siya magugutom kahit yung mga anak niya never will beg for bread. Alam niyo ako, honestly, galing ako sa mahirap. Galing ako sa hirap na buhay, naging squatter ako. Kung hirap pag-uusapan, marami tayo pag-uusapan dyan. Lahat yan, dinanas kong tumira sa squatter. At magtinda sa kalye ng banana queue. Pero nung na-discover ko na yung aking seed, yung aking kakayahan, I became fruitful. Never pa na nakaranas yung anak ko ng manghingi ng tulong sa ibang tao. Or their children, or my children begging for bread. Never. Kaya nga, I am a living testimony dito sa mismo mga tinuturo ko. I experience everything that I have been teaching you. Parenting principle na tayo. Sabi sa Proverbs, ito yung pinaka top principle na kailangan nating isaalang-alang whenever we give details on teaching parenting. Kasi the science provided us information kung anong klaseng parenting yung bawat parents. May 4 na binigay na definition na merong authoritative, merong parang wala pakialam na parenting. These are all observations eh. The question is, ano ba yung tama? Ano yung dapat gawin na klase ng parenting na effective? Sabi sa Proverbs din ni King Solomon, train up a child in the way he should go. When he is old, he will not depart from it. Pag inisip mo mabuti, ano ibig sabihin ng train? Kailangan nating i-check eh. Atras tayo pabalik. Train in Hebrew ni-research ko din, train na ginamit ditong word from the Hebrew text originally means, ito, totoo namang train. Ito, may example ako dito ng train. Nakikita nyo? Ang train lang ay yung nasa unahan. Lahat nakakabit sa kanya sa likod ay cars. Cars ang tawag. Siya lang yung train, yung nasa unahan. Kahit saan pumunta to, susunod yung mga nakadikit na cars sa kanya, sa likod. Now, yun pala ang meaning ng train na instruction sa magulang. Ito kayo, magulang, as the train. Ano man ang gawin ninyo, saan man kayo pumunta, ano man ang marinig nila sa inyo, ano man ang makita nila sa inyo, ano ang maramdaman, ma-experience nila sa inyo, sila ay susunod. Gagawin ko yung ehemplo, gagawin ko yung example, gagawin ko yung guide ng inyong mga anak. Wherever you go, whatever you do to each other, whatever you go, whatever you do to the family, they will always use you as their guide in growing up. So, make sure that as parents, karapat-dapat yung nakikita nila sa inyo. Make sure na kasunod-sunod. No? Alam mo yun, yung worthy of following you as a parent. Worthy of following you as a husband, as a mother, or as a father.
You're setting good example, right?
Yes, yes. Kaya nga, mahihirapan kang makumbinsi ang anak mo na sumunod sa'yo kung hindi naman niya nakikita sa'yo. Yung tinuturo mo. Di ba? Mahihirapan ka. Magi-struggle ka dyan. Because you don't have the authority. Na ang tawag din nila dyan ay moral ascendancy. So, lagi nating isipin, papaunawa sa kanila that marriage is not about them anymore. They are now legally obligated to produce functional and godly offspring sa mundo. Kaya nga, di ba pinag-isa kayo ng Diyos in flesh and spirit? Kayo ay pag-aari niya. Bakit? Because He was seeking godly offspring. Yan ang kanyang expectation sa bawat mag-asawa. Ano? Ang expectation niya? Godly offspring. Sa bawat nagpapamilya. Now, ito yung isang issue na hindi na-address sa mga counseling. Nahihiya siguro or pag pinag-usapan ang sex, medyo awkward siguro sa feelings ng ibang nagtuturo or mga counselors. But I will present this another video to you. Principles din, first law, na magiging gabay ninyo sa pagtuturo ng topic nito, sex. Without being without feeling awkward or without the feeling of nahihiya kayo or what. Again, a video from Dr. Miles Monroe. Watch and learn.
The number one need of a male, write this down, is sex. Write that down, you need to know that. The number one need of a male is sex. I didn't say the number one need of a man, because the man is spirit. A man needs God. But the number one need of a male is sex. Why? Because the male is designed by God to be a progenerator. That means the male is always full of seed. His purpose in life is to provide seed. That's why every male right now is carrying 500 million sperms in his loins right now. He's a seed carrier. So his number one purpose in life is to provide the genes or the generations or the genes for the generations. So a male is designed by God to produce generations. That's why when God wanted to create a nation, he never went to a woman, he went to a man, because a man carries the generations. He said, Abraham, a nation shall come from you, and Sarah will incubate the nation. So the man needs sex. The man doesn't want sex, he needs sex. Say he needs it. Men don't want sex, they need sex. A need is something that helps you function. A car doesn't want gasoline, it needs gasoline. If you don't have gasoline in the car, it stops functioning. A need is not a want. Men do not want sex, they need sex. Don't look at me so funny, lady. Say hallelujah anyhow. I'm trying to give you some education so you don't get in trouble. Now, because a man, number one need is sex, because he's driven by the divine purpose to produce seed. That's why men have no cycles. A man have no menstruation cycle. He's always ready. All the time, every day, all day, anytime, anywhere. The guy's ready. All the men say, right on. Don't look so quiet on me now. Come on, brothers, help me out here. Help me out here now. So you see, a man ain't got to build up to sex. He's just ready. And he ain't got no cycle. So he's ready even when you are not ready. Creates a problem. Now, most women who are married, especially you Christian women, some of y'all think that your husband got a demon. What's wrong with you, man? You had it last night. This morning again? What's wrong with you? And yesterday you had it, day before. You're sick, man. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to take you to Pastor Matthew and cast out this nymphomaniac demon. You are full of the devil. And so you take your husband down to the office. You make an appointment to see Brother Matthew and say, Pastor, my husband have a demon. He's a nymphomaniac. He won't leave his hands off me. You got to pray for him. Cast the demon out. And Brother Matthew says, I got the same demon. Can I hear an amen, brothers? Come on, Brother Matthew, help me out here. Amen, brother. That ain't no demon. All the men say amen. All the men say leave the demon alone. Your husband is not sick. He's normal. And if anybody here want to be too spiritual, any brother want to be too spiritual, if you don't have this same desire, you need prayer. Now, the question is, why is a woman's need not sex? A woman's number one need is not sex. Now, she likes sex. Sex is good for a woman, and she enjoys it. But it's not her motivational need. A woman's number one need is not sex. Write it down. Her number one need is affection. Affection is not sex, brothers. As a matter of fact, sex is the result of affection to a woman. If you give her affection, you'll get your need met. Now, some of you ladies need some help. You go to bed in the night, you got on all this clothes, socks, long mitten dress, tam on your head, you got wrapped up all around your body. The guy got to fight to find something. I mean, you got to stop this. All the men are shouting now, boy. Ladies, you want to be a good wife? Make it easy. Go with nothing on. Say, good night, baby. Come on to bed. I'm talking to wives now. If you ain't married, this ain't for you. Some men feel like they are raping their wives. Ladies, you ever wonder why Paul says your body's not your own? Because sometimes you don't feel like it. The problem is he always feels like it. Now, women have 4 seasons: summer, winter, autumn, and spring. So men, you got to be sensitive. When it's winter, leave her alone. Buy her flowers, kiss her, hug her, but don't touch her. That's winter. You're out in the cold, brother. Control yourself. Right, mama? You acting so spiritual now. You know it's true. When it's winter time, baby, you don't want nobody to touch you right now. It's winter. Then there's autumn. Autumn means that things begin to change, begin to warm up a little bit. But you still ain't interested right now. Then spring comes. Spring means everything's coming back to life, baby. You just get it on here. Then summer comes. Oh, it's so hot. She grabs you in the bed. Come on here. And then there's winter again. You out in the cold again. So men, we got to be sensitive. Even though you're ready all the time, she ain't. A good marriage is built on a man who understands sensitivity and a woman who understands the need of a man. Now, I'm going to tell you something, ladies. A man doesn't want sex. I like what Paul says. Paul says, don't you be spiritual now, ladies. Talking about going on missions. I'm going to fast and pray for 3 weeks. I'm going to just, what? The Bible says, don't you go and fast and pray unless you first ask, not God, but your husband. So you can't tell your husband, the Lord told me to fast. You got to tell God, your husband told you you could. That's what the scriptures teach. And then the Bible says, and after you finish fasting, after he allows you to go and fast and pray, it says, hurry back to the bed. Why? Because Sister Mabel in the church will provide what he needs if you don't. Don't look at me funny. While you out having missions, someone on a mission with your husband. Because he doesn't want it, he needs it. Oh, I got 4 more to give you, but the time's gone. Okay. Let me just close by saying this, ladies and gentlemen. Marriage is an honorable thing, but the bed is undefiled. You keep it pure by understanding the needs.
Okay. Ang galing ng question sa hulihan, ano? How many times daw how many times daw ba dapat mag-sex ang isang mag-asawa sa bawat linggo? Ako, pag busy na yung mag-asawa, ewan ko kung may time pa for sex. Okay? Now, let's have some exercises. Time check, it's 4:41 sa akin. Hindi naman tayo magbe-break dahil kailangan na natin idiretso, di ba, no, Doc Santos? Dire-diretso na tayo. Let's solve.
Okay lang po.
Yeah. Let's have some exercises, pero I will give you the chance to read the articles first para ma-position ninyo inyong sarili how to advise them kung kaharap niyo silang dalawa. No? Papakita ko sa inyo yung mga cases na publicly makikita sa Google, lalo na yung mga celebrity natin. Imagine they are in front of you at humihingi ng tulong sa iyo as a marriage counselor. Using the principles we learned, the formula that we learned from all throughout the master class, I expect you to apply them and tell them what to do. First problem is the problem of Maggie Wilson and Victor Consunji. Kilala niyo to? Kilala niyo
Yes,
sila?
sir.
Yan.
Yes
Lagi,
po.
Opo.
oo, lagi nasa news ito, no? So, papakita ko sa inyo isang article that was written about them, na yung una ay puro si Maggie lang muna nagsasalita before. Then later on nagsalita na rin si Victor, no? Si Victor Consunji. Ito yung nasa Facebook din to eh. Maggie Wilson reacts to marital laws following ex-Victor Consunji statement. So I want you to read this article from the Philippine Star. Do you need the link or i-google nyo na mismo? Kasi baka hindi nyo rin makita to sa screen eh. I-share ko ah. Share screen. Itong article mismo, yung i-search ninyo, para we are reading the same article. Philippine Star. Yan. Maggie Wilson reacts to marital loss following ex-Victor Consunji statement. Unfortunately, this couple already separated. Meron na silang kanya-kanyang karelasyon ngayon. Na kaya nga nakasuhan ng adultery to si Maggie. I think 3 counts yung adultery niya, 3 warrant of arrest according to news reports. At si Victor ay nagsalita na rin finally tungkol sa mga kaso-kaso na to. So I want you to read this article from Philippine Star. Pareho kayo, Doc Santos at si Vanessa. Then you read the other article about Victor Consunji naman. Hanapin natin. Ito yung isa. I-google nyo na ngayon. Unless nakikita nyo, ay sa Philippine Star di pala lumabas to. Nakikita nyo ngayon yung article, malinaw. Kita nyo po?
Ako po, sir, nakikita ko pero hindi ko nag-zoom.
Okay. I-google nyo na lang po Maggie and Victor news article about their marital problem. So I'll be back after 10 minutes. Siguro nakapag-compose na kayo ng inyong ka-counseling kung kaharap mo sila, lalo na kung hindi pa sila naghihiwalay. Mababasa nyo yung kanilang YouTube. Mababasa nyo yung kanilang mga pinagsimulan ng away. Halimbawa, nasa harapan nyo sila, ano ang sasabihin mo? Ano ang ika-counseling mo sa kanila? Okay? Ready na? Iwan ko muna kayo for 10 minutes. Vanessa? Doc, iwan ko na kayo for 10 minutes. Google this article, ha? Then I need your counseling report after 10 minutes. See you. See you. Hello, ready na kayo? Let's resume. Ready na po? Mauna ka na, Doc. Then after that, we can conclude our session today. Hello, Doc. Hello. Tao po. Tao po. No, nawala na pareho. Okay, so dahil nawala sila sa screen, nawala yung signal nila, we will have to conclude this session even without them. Siyempre, para sa'yo na kauli-uli ang nanonood, na nagtsatsagang makinig, sumubaybay, at naghintay. Okay? So, ito po ang aming masterclass in marriage and family relationship brought to us by DCIDP Exclusive School for Couples na kabase po dito sa Palanan, Makati. At kung gusto po ninyong matutunan ng malaliman at maintindihan ang mga bagay na may kinalaman sa relationship, ng marriage, ng family, ay mag-enroll lang po kayo sa aming programa na Advanced Course on Master and Marriage Masterclass in Marriage and Family Relationship. Oh, bumalik si Miss Vanessa. Miss Vanessa, nawawala yung signal ni Doc Santos, so mag-i-email na lang daw siya ng kanyang counseling para doon sa ating subject. Ganoon na lang din gawin mo. Email mo na lang din yung iyong ika-counseling kung sakaling kaharap mo itong dalawang ito. Discussing with you their marital problems. I hope narinig mo ako. Ha, Vanessa? Matagal kang mag-connect eh. I was about to end. So, message na lang kita. Ha? Miss Vanessa?
Yung chat ko lang.
Yeah. Send na lang sa email yung ika-counseling mo sa ating subject kung sakaling nasa harapan mo sila. Ha? Email na lang kasi si Doc nawala na rin sa signal, nawala na rin siyang data daw. So email na lang. Okay? So let's conclude this class. Thank you, Vanessa, for attending. We don't have a class
Thank
on 5. Oo. Wala tayong master class sa 5:25 dahil holiday. Resume tayo sa first Saturday ng March 2023. Okay? Thank you again for attending. Ha? Miss Vanessa, see you on March, ano man date yun? 4. Saturday. Sa pagpapatuloy ng ating masterclass in marriage and family relationship. Bye-bye. This is Angelo Base, your lecturer, saying goodbye and good evening to everyone. Bye-bye.